There were further clashes after Friday prayers in Gaza as Palestinians again protested against the US president's recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. The cross-border confrontation bringing more Palestinian deaths.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to make a quick video and give my take on the Jerusalem embassy move and the recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. I wanted to wait a little bit before I made this video so I could sit back and watch what would happen with people's reactions with this move, in particular the Palestinians and the Arab countries. And it was no doubt exactly what I predicted and many other analysts predicted when he made this move, which is the equivalent to pouring gas on an already burning fire, so to speak. It's not very hard to see that this move would enrage the Palestinian population along with the Christian Arabs in the Middle East. And I believe that it was done just for those reasons. I do want to break this down as a two-dimensional and three-dimensional chess move, because if you read Zbigniew Brzezinski's book, The Grand Chessboard, the metaphor as nation states and that participate in the nation state ideology, whether that be left wing or right wing, the metaphor of a chessboard and pieces on the chessboard, I think is very apt, because two-dimensionally, if you're the actual people on the board, whether you're a pawn or a rook or a knight, your perspective looks very different than the people who are actually moving the chess pieces around. So I want to stick with that analogy, or stick with that metaphor, because I definitely think that there's two ways to look at it, the two-dimensional and three-dimensional. So first I want to break down the two-dimensional point of view. So looking at this from a two-dimensional perspective, we have to ask ourselves the question, who benefits? And from my estimation, the only party that benefits to this move are the pro-Zionists and Jewish supremacists, and two, the pro-Zionist Christians who reside in America, who think that the end of the world, this signifies the end of the world and Jesus returning. Those are the only two parties who I feel really benefit from this. I don't even feel that Israel benefits, because if you're an Israeli citizen who isn't a Jewish supremacist and who wants peace and who wants prosperity and who maybe would want a two-state solution, this move doesn't help generate that in any way. To the contrary, it only serves to enrage and ignite more vitriolic hatred towards Israel and the United States. So looking at this from the two-dimensional perspective, it makes no sense whatsoever. The Make America Great Again crowd, you guys have a really tough time explaining this one and explaining Trump's move on this. It does not serve to benefit the United States whatsoever. It just brings more hatred and more resentment towards Trump and America in general. So two-dimensionally, it makes no sense. And a lot of analysts who are looking at it two-dimensionally come to the same conclusion and are scratching their head as to why you would do this, when obviously the ramifications have been protests, have been the Israeli and American flags being burned. Nobody really is excited about this move, other than, like I said, the pro-Zionists and Jewish supremacists and the Christian Zionists who reside in the States. Now, using this wonderful man, and I say that sarcastically, Zbigniew Brzezinski's analogy or metaphor about the world being a chessboard and the people on it being nothing but pawns to be moved around, and when you use that analogy to look at this this move from a three-dimensional perspective, from the people who are actually picking up the pieces, moving them here and moving them there, trying to create conflict, this is where the three-dimensional point of view really helps make sense of this move, in my opinion. So three-dimensionally, when we look at this, we have to understand that for quite some time, the war drums have been beating against Iran. There's always been this push for some sort of war against Iran. This would be a major, major war in the Middle East. Now, using Zbigniew Brzezinski's analogy as a chessboard, and then using what Anthony Sutton describes in his book, America's Secret Establishment, The Order of the Skull and Bones, Secret Society, at Yale. A lot of people would ask, well, what the hell does that have to do with Trump's Jerusalem move? Well, there's something called the Hegelian Dialectic, which I think many people in these types of conspiracy circles are very familiar with. And when we're looking at the Jerusalem move with the Hegelian Dialectic in mind and a three-dimensional perspective in mind, I think it makes much more sense why this was done. So if there is this need, this desire to have a war with Iran, and we won't get into the reasons why the war with Iran is desired and wanted. We can save that for another video. But just using the Hegelian dialectic and three-dimensional kind of over-top view, I think this move serves to enrage and ignite and inflame the Arabs in the Middle East to come together more, Lebanon, Hezbollah, the Palestinians, Iran, to make, one axis, one faction, really have that, dividing line of you have those people on one side, and now you have America, Israel, Saudi Arabia on the other side. So this move, to me, and in my estimation, really helps almost dig that line between the two axes, dig that trench even deeper. So we can see really two axes taking shape here on this chessboard, and that's not even to mention Russia on the other side, because they could easily come in with Iran. And excuse me, I forgot to mention Syria, obviously, who would be on the one axis. So I do believe this move has more to do with the Hegelian dialectic principles, which are practiced by the people who actually pull the strings of people like Trump. This move is, again, not serving America, not even serving Israel, in my opinion. It does nothing but pour gas on an already enraging inferno over there between the Palestinians and the Israelis. And I believe that really is the ultimate purpose, to polarize this event as much as you can, to continue to create one side versus the other, and then ultimately, potentially, I believe World War III has always been on the table, always an ace in the sleeve of these elites who really do pull the strings behind these governments. So that's my perspective, that's my opinion of this Trump Jerusalem move. We'll play some videos and we can see some of the protests and the hatred towards Israel and the United States because of this move. So again, two-dimensionally doesn't benefit anybody. Three-dimensionally, it benefits the people who want to see a war, want to see more conflict, because out of conflict, out of strife, can come some sort of solution that's already been pre-planned and predetermined. So that's my opinion on the matter. The Make America Great crowd, again, really has a tough job to do at explaining this move, because, again, it does not serve to benefit the United States in any way, shape, or form. Trump is just a Zionist puppet, just like Obama, just like Bush, just like Clinton, just like the previous Bush. The list goes on and on and on. They're just figureheads. They're just a face to the system. Nothing will change. by voting another puppet in. We have to come to the realization that the system is rigged, the system is gamed, and there's a Hegelian dialectic principle that is being followed and is being used to divide people, to create one side versus the other side, so they can have conflict, so there can be some sort of resolution, but a predetermined, pre-planned resolution. So to summarize everything one final time, the move just enrages, just divides, just creates a more polarizing situation there. That's the end goal of this move. I don't see, honestly, any other reason why Donald Trump would do this. And he's been saying he was going to do this since he was running for president. So this move should come as no surprise to people who have been following what he's been saying. So that's all I have to say on the subject. Take care, everybody, and have a Merry Christmas or whatever you celebrate. Take care. Bye.